Hi, welcome back. I'm It's Me Serial, and today we're going to be talking about the F-80C. This thing is a monster of an aircraft at BR 7.7. It's in the rank 5 American tree, and this thing used to be pretty good anyways, up until about 2 months ago when they made the WEP unlimited on this thing. It used to have about 3 minutes of a limitation, now it doesn't have any. As long as your engine's not overheating and you have fuel, you can WEP, and while you're WEPing, you pretty much out energy everything. You may not be the fastest, you may not have the best acceleration, but your energy retention is just absurd. Even MiG-15s, if they stick to the fight with you and they let you get them slow, they just die. This upcoming part right here, you can see I'm getting chased by the MD-450, I'm getting chased by an F-84G, and I'm getting chased by a 262. And I can't outrun them. I'm going slow as it is, so I just use the terrain that I have around me. I see the 262 going around to the side, so I want to get them all in the same loop, so I go up and over, and I get them all to follow me around in the same exact direction. That way, if they all commit to me, I don't have to worry about getting hit from an unexpected angle or from them crossing loops in a way where if I try to get a shot, I die. This way, they're all in the exact same loop, and I don't have to worry about any surprises. I can just keep an eye on all three of them pretty easily. This isn't something you can always do, and this is not really a winnable fight. But thankfully, the 262 you're about to see right here ends up leaving. He doesn't end up third-partying me. You can see him there on the right. He doesn't pick up speed and third-party me or boom and zoom me like he should. This F-84G also leaves, I think, right there. So I'm pretty sure it's just me and the MD-450 by this point, and I do a terrible job of fighting this guy. I will be honest, I tried to take this into a more horizontal rolling scissors, which is not the right move against the MD-450. It turns tighter at a lower speed than I can. So it will always win the rolling scissors, and you'll see he will get on my tail pretty easily. What I should have done is just keep it more vertical like this, but you see here I start to try and roll over, try and keep my speed up a little higher, go into a rolling scissors, but it's just not the right move. You can see he's gaining ground on my tail really fast. And what actually saves me is not even my own choice. I see the pillar on the right there, so I know I can't keep turning that way. I have to go up. He's forced to also go up straight. And you see the first time I do that, he can't keep up. I'm like very, very rapidly gaining on his tail. This is what I should have been doing the whole time. It's just going vertical with him, just keeping it in a vertical loop. That would have won me this fight and gotten me the kill. So he just ends up leaving right here. The correct choice from him. I would have been dead in that situation if either the F-84G or the 262 decided to boom and zoom me if they didn't commit. Actually, if any of them didn't commit and just decided to boom and zoom me, I would be dead. That's not a winnable situation if they play it right. Getting into the gameplay here, I have 2 6-kill games from you. They were played back to back. This is the first battle of the day I played. My aim is going to be extremely rusty. It's not the fault of me not playing at all beforehand. I just don't have very good aim. I compensate by just trying to fly as good as possible and getting shots where I can't possibly miss, and then still miss anyways usually. But I have my moments. So this is the first game I played. The game I will show you after this was the second game. And then that little clip I showed you in the beginning to show how this thing can dogfight and how its energy retention is, that was from the third game I played. So I only recorded 3 for the video. It was all I needed. I already have a 23.5-minute video. I am following this 262 up. Kind of a foolish decision from me, but I see he's not using his boosters, so either he's already used them up or he doesn't want to, which is a bad choice from him. So I just keep following him up, and eventually I get a good enough hit. I get him on fire. And then I decide, well, that's not good enough. It's a fuselage fire. He's not dead yet. So I laser his engine and take his wing off. But if you ever get a slow 262, do whatever you can to get engine damage on it. Because once they have engine damage and they're going slow, they will enter an unrecoverable flat spin every time. So that is how you deal with 262s. Not that they're particularly hard to deal with anyways. But this next clip, or this next portion of the conflict that I'm going to show, this is one entire solid game. The only part that I cut out is me landing and rearming. This next part right here, I'm diving down on a MiG-15 trying to help my AD2. I don't have any keybinds or A2D. Yeah, A2D. I'm looking at a tiny screen, I'm sorry. But I don't have keybinds for the like chat to say like, hey, attack this target or whatever. So I don't really have an easy way to alert him that somebody's behind him. So he just ends up dying to the MiG-15, kind of unfortunate. I'm now entering a 1v2 situation with a MiG-15 and a MiG-9. I'm not really afraid of the MiG-9. It's not much of a threat. It can't really do anything about me. But the MiG-15, if played right, is a counter to this thing, but if played wrong, this thing counters the hell out of the MiG-15, and he's already going quite slow, and I see that. So I try and turn around to dive on him. I see my F-2H come in, and I'm like, sweet, I don't have to worry about the MiG-9, he'll kill him, and then he gets killed by the MiG-15, so kind of unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. I have some bad aim on the MiG-15 here. He should have been dead. This fight that you're about to see should have been a lot easier than it is, but now, suddenly, it's a 4v1, because there's two Su-9s, there's a MiG-9 and a MiG-15. So this is suddenly very bad, and the Su-9 is immediately committing. I have no clue where the MiG-9 is at this point. I know the other Su-9 is about to come in, and thankfully they all managed to just group up in a way where I can just dive after the MiG-15 and not have to pay attention to them, because they're all right there. Well, I say that, there's the MiG-9 coming back in, but he's coming back in, and I thought he was going a lot faster than he was, so I dodged a lot harder than I needed to. But I'm already pulling away. I just need to move a little bit to dodge his snipe shots, slow projectiles, not a lot of them, pretty easy to dodge. And here I make a decision. I would rather fight a losing position like this than run to my airfield, because my airfield's like 5 or 10 kilometers behind me. I could have ran, I could have been fine, but I would rather fight this. This is more fun. I don't care if I'm gonna lose, I just wanna try and have fun. So I dive under them, I make the angle very difficult for them to maintain, go up after the MiG-15, spray a little bit, get a hit on his wing, take, I think, a flap off. And now he's going slow enough to a point where I can just stay behind him. And I make a, like, scary decision to kind of ignore the Su-9s, but I know they're not that capable of an aircraft. They're kind of sad. And if you're going through the Russian line, I would heavily suggest just skipping it and going for the MiG-9 late, or waiting until you get the MiG-15 bis. Get really lucky there with the Horton not killing me. But after his first pass on me, there's not really much he can do. If you just continue to roll and pull like this, if you watch, I'm keeping my vertical stabilizer perfectly in line with his wingtip. There's nothing he can do, really. He can choose to fly straight and try and just wait for me to keep rolling, but I'm just going to keep my vertical stabilizer vertical with his wingtip, or parallel with his wingtip. So anytime he tries to shoot, I'm just going to dodge his rounds. There's not a whole lot. That thing is very hard to get guns on. You pretty much have to third party with it. So now I am in a very energy advantageous position, because those 7.0s are kind of sad when it comes to energy performance, and this thing is not. So I'm just trying to pick which target I want to dive on right now. The Horton seems to be just leaving, so I'm not going to poke him to stay. Both Su-9s are kind of grouped up, so I'm just picking whichever one presents a better target. That Su-9 turning to the right, he ends up, if I went for him, I would end up in front of the other Su-9, and this Su-9 just flew straight away from me. He didn't really make it hard, so I just stick to him. It's going to take a while for the other Su-9 to catch up. The Horton just looks like it's still leaving, so I think that Horton was a smart enough pilot to realize that there's not really a whole lot he can contribute, other than if the Su-9s were smart enough to boom and zoom me while he's turn fighting me, but that is a dangerous game, because it doesn't take long for the Horton to fall out of the air, and the F-80 won't fall out of the air, so he pretty much has to win that in like 2 or 3 turns, or he's going too slow. So ignore my abhorrent aim. I'm just shooting straight over him. Luckily he pulls into it, and pilot snipes himself on my tracers. My engine's starting to overheat here. I see the Su-9 coming up behind me. I'm going fast enough right now that I can get some separation, let my engine cool a bit. I'm looking around for the Horton. I'm kind of scared where he is. I see him over there ground pounding, so I'm getting a little bit of separation from him, letting my engine continue to cool. And I make a weird decision here. I was gonna go for the Horton at first, but I decided to make the smarter decision, let him ground pound, kind of ignore him while I go for the Su-9. Isolate this into a 1v1 instead of dragging another person into a 2v1. If they look like an easy target, but they're leaving you alone while you're dealing with somebody else, leave them alone. Keep an eye on them, but leave them alone. Try and isolate your fights if you can. Going into a 1v2 or a 1v3, if you have the choice, isolate a target and pick them first and kill them, and then go after the other person. And that's exactly what I do with this Su-9. Get low on ammo here, don't realize it. Go back down to get the kill, and I do get the kill right here. And that's when I spot the IL-28. I get a little spooked, but I'm like, okay, well, I have time to get the head on. Maybe I can get the kill here, and click. Uh-oh, I have no ammo. So, awkward position here now. I have no ammo. I'm very low on fuel. And my airfield is the exact direction that IL-28's heading. And I'm between, or he's between me and the airfield. And I don't know where the Horton is at this point. I'm still wondering if he's around. Maybe he saw me kill the Su-9, and now he's going, okay, well, maybe I should go kill the F-80, but thankfully he's not. So this is post takeoff. I just cut it out because it's kind of boring. Nothing really happened. The IL-28 left me alone. I don't know if he knew that I was out of ammo. Maybe he thought I was running stealth belts or something, but he just left me alone. And the Horton, I think, went to go land, and I think he crashed. And so after taking off, I spot this MiG-9. He doesn't spot me. I think it's because I had the sun behind me, but I'm not exactly sure. And he just doesn't see me. So this is kind of a free kill. So while I work my way up to the kill, I'm not going to cut any of the climbing out, just so that you guys can see the full game. While I'm climbing up to him, and you guys get to see the performance difference between the two aircraft, that is, you know, 0.4 BR, by the way, I'd like to point out. That's 7.3, this is 7.7. While I'm climbing up to him, I'll yap a little bit about myself, because not many people saw my first video. I have been playing this game for about 12 years, and in the last 2 years, or in the last like year and a half, because I didn't play for 6 months, in the last year and a half or so, I've been playing the game with one arm because I had a motorcycle accident 2 years ago this month, and it left my arm fully paralyzed, my left arm. So I play the game with my right arm only, using a special mouse called the Azeron Cyro. It has 16 keys, which allow me to do most of what I need to do for like props and early jets. I can't really handle radar missiles, for example. It also has a 5-way D-pad, so it has up, down, left, right, and a press in. And then I also have the joystick, which emulates WASD, and it also has a press in, which I don't use because it's very stiff. But that allows me to play the game to a pretty competent degree. It's a little bit limiting, but it's not enough that like it's a problem. Like, for example, one of the limitations I have no keyboard controls for my rudder. I just have to mouse aim my rudder. I can roll and I can pitch, but I cannot yaw. I have no yaw keys. So I just put myself in, I've learned to put myself in situations where I don't need my yaw keys, and you see I got the kill on the MiG-9 there. And I'm going to jump a little bit ahead because I fly around for 5 minutes looking for the last two. That IL-28, if you were paying attention to the kill feed, he crashed. But he didn't fully die. I think he crashed and repaired. So I use my blind hunt here, skipping forward about 5 minutes. And if I would have looked down, I could have saved myself the blind hunt, which is kind of unfortunate. I did the same thing the last game, the last video. I used my blind hunt and looked straight down, and the guys below me anyways, so kind of a shame, but whatever. This game I don't end up winning because, as you're going to see in a minute here, time's almost up. Finish your objective. That warning where you have about 1.5 minutes left to complete the game. So I just try and rush the kill on this guy as quickly as possible. I already have an ace, so I'm going for kill number 6 here, and he just blatantly ignores me. He could have denied me this kill pretty easily, but he waits for me to hit him a couple times before he moves and ignore the abhorrent aim again. I'm well aware. And the aim is not a limitation of my arm. You can ask my best friend. I have had awful aim in this game for as long as he's known me. So yeah, it's something I've always struggled with. Never something I really improved. I can hit deflection shots pretty well, but like the hardest shots for me are the easiest shots, or at least they seem the easiest, but they're actually pretty difficult shots. Deflection shots, it's just about lining it up. Shots like these, like I you know what, I would consider this a deflection shot, but like normal shots where you're behind somebody like 700 meters away and they're turning, you have to like measure so many different things so quickly in your mind, like how fast are they going, how fast are you going, how quickly are they turning or how slowly are they turning, how big are they, etc., etc., how fast are your shells, how far away are they for bullet drag, all that. You're calculating all those things, whereas a deflection shot, you just spray an angle. So I couldn't get the last kill. The IL-28 was 16 kilometers away. No chance I was winning that game. So on to this next one. This is also a 6-kill game. This was the second game I played of the day. And I would say the gameplay and the aim would be a bit better, but really the jet's what's going to be carrying this. This is something that I think most people could do in this jet. If once you learn how to play the F-80C properly, I would think that getting around 1.5 kills per game average is pretty achievable. Really skilled pilots could probably get like 3 or 4 kills per game, maybe even like 5. Some people out there are just nuts. But yeah, this jet is pretty, I wouldn't say it's oppressively overpowered. It does have counterparts at BR, like the LA-200 and MiG-15, for example, if played right. The Sabres, if played right. Anything with speed pretty harshly counter the F-80C if they play their speed instead of trying to turn, because The good turning swept wings, for example, like the MiG-9, are not good at turning compared to this thing, because they're swept wings. They bleed their energy. They don't have the greatest turn rate. They just turn really good compared to the other swept wings. Does not work against this. Player speed. This thing goes like 10% slower than the other jets that are swept wings, and even like a 262 in a straight line or an F-84G in a straight line, I can't catch in this thing. But what I can do is I can energy fight them pretty easily. I'll outclimb them. So another like huge counter to this thing at BR, other than the swept wings, would be the Meteor Mark III, and to a point the Meteor Mark 8, but the Meteor Mark 8 is kind of a good fight. It's a hard fight. Meteor will win more often than not, but it's winnable. The Meteor Mark III, if you try to turn fight with that thing in this thing, you're dead. You got like a turn and a half and you're dead, because it just turns so much sharper. Does not matter if you play energy on it. Do not commit to those things ever. Just boom and zoom them. They're slow. They don't roll very good at high speed. Just boom and zoom them. They're not the hardest target in the world to hit because they're pretty big. I say as I whiff horribly and get a hit. But you notice I don't commit. I go up. I catch my speed back into altitude. Otherwise, if I turn turn horizontally, I will bleed some of my speed. This way I get to conserve some of it. Sorry about the camera there. I don't really know what happened. I think I just moved my mouse a little too hard or something. One tip that I would kind of recommend to newer players too, when you're in a position like this and you can dive on somebody, you notice I'm not diving on him, I'm diving behind him, because the best thing you can do when somebody's diving straight at you is turn underneath them, point their nose harder at the ground. You'll make them compress more, they won't be able to turn as well, and they'll have to pull off a lot sooner, or they'll just hit the ground. So you'll either get a maneuver kill by them committing lawn dart, or they won't be able to shoot because they'll be so far away. So the best thing you can do is turn underneath somebody. But if you're the person doing the diving, dive behind them. Like, keep your cursor behind where they're going. You want to delay that turn, because now if they try to turn underneath you, you can just keep delaying your turn behind them, and they'll go into a spiral towards the ground and bleed themselves out of energy while you still have altitude to work with. So that is something you can do. I would heavily recommend doing that. It just works out really well. And this is what I meant earlier when I said MiG-15s really can't turn fight this thing. This MiG tried, but he was going fast enough. He was kind of compressing, but not fast enough to get away. I delayed my turn. I kept it open, kept my energy up a bit. And you see, now that he's turning with me, this is a MiG-15 BIS. Yeah, sure, it's an ish. The performance between it and a BIS are pretty similar. It's negligible. And I'm not having a problem keeping up with him. Yeah, sure, he'll out-accelerate me, but he can't outrun the guns. And as long as he's within my gun range, if I can keep him turning, he's not getting away from me. He will have to turn harder than me to try and get out of my guns, and he will slow himself down. MiG-15s can only boom and zoom this thing. They cannot fight it. If the F-80C plays it very poorly, or you have a distinct massive energy advantage over the F-80C, the MiG-15 BIS can win. But for the most part, it's just not worth committing to it. Just boom and zoom it. It'll eventually run out of energy. It may be an energy god, but anything that's being boom and zoomed just cannot maintain. So F-84G, again, I don't know why people just blatantly ignore me and fly straight, but I'll take it. That's a free kill. Yeah, so I'm gonna skip ahead to this next part because I am low on ammo, low on fuel. I just decide I'm gonna go land. There's still like 3 people left I can kill. So, but it's a long flight back. You can see I'm right by their airfield. Yeah, so now that I've taken off, I'm heading over to help out my teammate, because the F-84G, ground pounding, 829 right there. So another important lesson here, most knowledge would dictate go after the F-84G, because if you go for the 829, the F-84G will have your tail. But that F-84G has already shown his cards on what he wants to do, which is ground pound, because he's been ground pounding. So going for the 829, I just have to kind of keep an eye on him, and you see I keep looking over at the F-84G. He's going pretty slow, not really a big threat. This 829 on my F-84 teammate is a big threat. If my F-84 dies, I'm suddenly in a 2v1 that I don't want. I would rather 2v1 the 829, so that's what I'm doing. So that is another important lesson in target prioritization. Sometimes going for the target in front is worth it, and that's just something you'll have to learn on your own through trial and error. Sometimes you go for the front target and you die, sometimes you go for the front target and you kill them and then can kill the back target. There's no one strict rule you can follow for target prioritization. If I followed the strict rule of you always go for the person in back, my teammate probably would have died, which he ends up dying anyways because they both take a full commit head on and bonk foreheads. So, unfortunate. But now I'm in a 1v1 with this F-84G. He's going slow. I'm not really too worried. Spray a bunch in the head on because I got plenty of ammo and it's just him and one other person left alive. And if I get the lucky head on, then I take it, but I just pull out of it. He's going slow. He commits to the turn. He should have kept going straight and just tried to accelerate and run away. That's all they really can do. But now at this point, he's going too slow. His acceleration's not good enough to get away from me. The F-84G, especially out of all of the fast jets at BR, needs to not turn with this thing because your acceleration is bad. You need to just play your speed. And while I was taking that shot, I heard another jet. It's another F-84G. This one is doing the right thing. This guy does the exact right thing at the exact right time, which is boom and zoom me. He has a lot of speed. He knows it. He's just gonna keep going. Unfortunately, his teammate is gonna die right here. Not much he can really do about it other than hit the shots that he should have hit there, but kind of a difficult shot with how fast he's going. So now he's stuck in a 1v1 with me, but he has a massive energy advantage. He has altitude and speed over me. So what do? I go below him, and you see he cannot take that fight, and he knows it because he will hit the ground. So I go up. He also goes up, which is kind of a mistake, but he has enough energy that it actually does work out, and it's a mistake for me to keep following him. I underestimated how much speed he actually had and how high he was, or how steep he was going up. So that's my mistake. I get myself slow. I should have hit my shots there, but it's fine. I may be stalling at this point, but this thing's stall control is really nice. He will stall before me if he wants to keep that up and try and stall into me. So he can't, and he knows it, so he just leaves. And this guy does the right thing here because the energy advantage is gone for him. He has a bit more energy than me, but not enough to really win this fight in the way that it is. So he just runs, which is the right thing to do. It kind of wastes my time for 4.5 minutes, but it's a fight he can't take. I'm not going to blame him for it. He finally is about to hit the map border here, so he just turns around, because if he hits the map border, he gets turned around at 250 miles an hour or something like that, which is way too slow. And I don't know why he doesn't take the head on here. He just kind of gives it to me for free, but I end up getting the kill here, and you'll see in the chat, I do ask him having fun. I was kind of frustrated that he was running away, but in hindsight, if you're seeing this dude, I'm sorry. I was frustrated. You did the right thing. There's not really much you can do in that situation there. That is not a winnable fight for you. I don't blame you. I do the same thing when I don't have a winnable fight. Anyways, I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching the video. If you watched all the way to this point and you liked the video, please feel free to leave a like. If you didn't, feel free to dislike the video. Doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt my feelings. And if there's any vehicle you want to watch me play, leave a request in the comments below and I will get around to it. Thank you.